right. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Rise and Grind Morning Show. It is 7:56 a.m. We are out and early and ready to rock and roll today, July 24th. It is official. I know I've said this a couple of days now, but media can attend practice today. And we'll be getting into some of that a little bit later. We've got kind of a packed show, but it might be a short show. Meyer Performance Center. Meyer really stepped up in an amazing partnership with the Detroit Lions. Lions power ranking #1 overall. We'll talk about that and our future. And Sammy the Bull finally made the cut in year 2 as a top 100 candidate voted by his peers. So we'll talk about all that in Mailbag when we come back here in 90 seconds. Good morning.
Schefter at ESPN says there's 275,000 people.
Well, that was some party in downtown Detroit. 775,000 people, shattering the NFL draft attendance record.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
All right, so let me pop this back here. We will have the press conference in here in just a few moments. As soon as it goes live, we will bring it in. Just got to get it set up. One second, guys. Eric, you can go ahead and talk about whatever while I'm doing this.
All right. Oh, so how's everybody doing this morning in the chat so far? Let's see who we got. Tracy, David Bryson, Roger Chappis, August. Haven't seen that one before. And Mike P, Benjamin Walmers, and Derek W. So welcome, guys. We're going a little early this morning. We actually started not on time, before time. So that's pretty good for us. And even though we had a few difficulties this morning, we got the audio fixed and we're going. And pretty incredible for us, but none of the G words. And I'm not talking about Green Bay. And yeah, pretty awesome this morning.
All right. So, of course, they say they're going to start at 8 a.m. It's 8 a.m. and it has not started yet. They're always late. They're always late. Which, we are too. So I guess, it is what it is. I do like to start a little bit earlier because obviously I want to get ahead of the game. So 7:55 a.m. will probably be the normal start time. But we get all the pleasantries out of the way between like 7:55 and 8. Here we go. I'm going to bring this in. We'll talk about it.
No sound, Will.
Oh. Why does it not have sound? You guys have sound now?
Still no.
You guys have sound? What in the world? All right. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. It figures, right? Yep. It should just be able to pull right in with sound. So I apologize about all that this morning. We tried. I don't know what the hell's going on. I've got to turn this off, though. Figures, right? Doesn't make any sense, but we'll have to get it figured out for next time. I wanted to do something a little different today, and it's just not going to work in our favor. Let me make sure this desktop audio is now off. Otherwise, we're probably going to have an echo. Okay. All right. Well, let's get rolling on our roster this morning. Let's not make these people wait any longer. Meyer Performance Center. So as you guys could see with the new podium there, Meyer has stepped up in a huge way with the Detroit Lions. I mean, two amazing brands of Michigan, like they spoke about yesterday, coming together for the greater good of Michigan sports, but the Detroit Lions. And they really stepped up for Allen Park. Just last week, you guys heard me talking about how hot it was, at training camp. It's obviously the end of July. It's early August. It's extremely hot in Michigan at times, or usually it is. Every time I've been to training camp, 90 degrees, at least one of the days. And you're sitting out in bleachers without any coverage. So if you don't bring in, an umbrella or something to protect yourself, it is not even fun to be there. You can walk around and go stand, in other places, but it's not even. Yeah, Braylon, we tried to bring it in live. It's just not working. So Meyer steps up and they put now covered bleachers in throughout the entire training camp. There's the VIP area that is a double-decker setup with coverage and I think there's even curtains on the front, which I'm not sure why they would do that, but. Anyway, Meyer's really stepped up in a huge way. They have also added $4 million to the players' conditioning room, the weight room. So they have all the state-of-the-art of equipment in the training room and the weight room. So it's huge. It's exactly what I was speaking to last week. It's what I spoke about last year. Every other team is doing this. Why not the Lions? And they must have heard it. From somewhere, somebody, not saying they heard it from me, but, they've probably heard it from the fans. They probably had a lot of fans, writing in about it and saying, hey, these are the things that need to make us better. If all the other teams can do this, why can't we? And Meyer stepped up. So big shout out to Meyer for doing this. The expansion of the partnership between the Lions and Meyer will include interior and exterior Meyer Performance Center branding elements around Allen Park, as well as branding on the team's practice uniforms during the regular season. Additionally, Meyer will also be representing partner of the Brush Street Concourse. So if you've been to Ford Field, the Brush Street Concourse very well. It's probably the best concourse in the entire stadium, is now going to have Meyer all over it. Maybe they'll have a vending area, with Meyer product. Maybe it'll be chips and sodas and stuff like that. Who knows? But visible branding to be all over the place during our home games, and then also the other events that will also feature multiple game day elements. Meyer is now the Lions' exclusive grocery partner, and currently the first and only grocery retailer that has naming rights of an NFL club's training facility. So another first for the Detroit Lions and the NFL. Lions are doing big things. Eric, what do you think about this partnership?
I think it's awesome. Now, Rod Wood got on and he talked a little bit, and he said that, they had been looking at different properties and thinking about expanding and moving. And now it sounds like the opposite. It sounds like they're just going to take what they have and expand upon it. And that's what they're doing now. And I've never been to training camp down there, so it looks really awesome to me. I just want to know, how do we get into that double-decker VIP area? That's where I want to go one of these days.
I've never figured that out. I've never figured out how to get into VIP. All the years that I've gone, you would think that you would get some sort of a notice, being a season ticket holder, that maybe you could get different tickets. I have never figured that out.
Maybe
now, I had VIP like 10 years ago when I brought my kids there, and that was the last time I ever had a VIP ticket. I don't even know how we got it. So I don't know. No clue.
Is that like maybe one of the perks that you can choose when they send the emails out to the season ticket holders?
No idea, man. Some of that stuff just flies under the radar. Like, it's not well broadcasted. If there's one thing that the Lions could do better with season ticket holders, it is making sure that things are very well communicated, because it's not.
Yeah. Listen, so I'm on the list for season tickets, and I have been for a while now. And I put a deposit down for 3 tickets because I thought maybe 3 would get me in quicker, right? Having an odd number. And apparently they ended up sending me an email back in March that I could have gotten season tickets, and I never got the email for like 6 weeks. I got it 6 weeks later. And then like a couple days later, I got another email for a chance I could have bought single game tickets for all the games, and I didn't get that email either until 6 weeks later. And I talked with 2 different ticket reps, mine and one other one, and they've been trying to get everything figured out for me. But now I am at the very, very top of the list. I am next in line for season tickets. And when I go down on August 11th, I have to talk to her again, because she said I can take up to 10 people with me, and we can go do a private tour of Ford Field. We can go down on the field. We can go in the locker room. And so I'm hoping to kind of line that up when we go down there for the 11th.
It's kind of weird. You can take 10 people if you don't have 10 tickets, but we did that during the what was that event that we went to?
Yeah, when we went to the draft.
Yeah, we did the tour.
Yeah, but this time the flooring wouldn't be on top of the field. I'd actually get to touch the turf and take my picture out on Ford Field. I've never done it yet.
Oh, yeah. There's multiple times you can get on the field. There's little, like we still have family night coming up, I believe. So, family night, you should have an opportunity there to get on the field too.
I want to be the guy that holds the big American flag before the game, and I want to be down in the tunnel and high five the guys as they go through.
So those are all things that I was trying to work on for the away game bus packages, was trying to get involved in all of that. If you got 50 people and you bring them out to be part of, the banner holding or the flag holding or whatever, those are all the types of things that we're trying to put together. We'll hit it hard next year, because this year, I don't think anybody grasped the idea quick enough. So I'm going to start it for next year, probably at, November of this year. I'll start putting it together for next year, because, I had an opportunity to get tickets at really good prices, but, unless we sell 40 tickets, I'm not going to purchase the other 10, because it's too much money. You're talking a couple $100,000 to do this. So I'm not doing that. There's no way. It's not a moneymaker for me, so I just wouldn't invest that kind of money to do it. So here we go. What's up next? We have, it's officially Media Day. So this is what's going to change, everyone. Now that we've been struggling through the off season, the silly season, the no content season for a lot of content creators, it just kind of disappeared. You are now going to see the opportunity where media is going to be involved, and they're going to be on the field during training camp, giving us reports of our favorite players and kind of what's going on, the injuries, the updates. And that is where we are going to excel at delivering the information a little bit better. I did not get credentialed for this year. It is extremely hard to get credentialed. When I get down there, I'll be traveling through tomorrow. I am going to stop in and talk to somebody to see what I need to do to get in, at least for next year, or even some game access, even away game access, trying to get a credential for away games. We'll figure it out. But until that happens, I'm going to be stuck kind of delivering the same information as everybody else. We just try to do it at a better clip and do it in a better way without the SOL attached to it. So it's media day. I'm excited about it. I know they're excited about it. I can't wait to see, what's going to be pumping today. It's going to be a lot of information. But starting right away with the press conference. So right after this live show this morning, I'll jump back into the press conference and watch it. I apologize I couldn't get it, up and running for you guys this morning. That's what I wanted to go through this morning in the very beginning of the show. I'm not sure why the audio won't play from a browser capture. It just doesn't make any sense. Just like how we started this morning and I had zero audio on my side and my mic was at zero. Makes no sense.
Yep.
So these systems have bugs, man. I don't get it. Lions power ranks. Let's get into that. Power rankings. Your Lions are finally getting some respect. So, Eric, when you saw this, what was going through your head, man?
It kind of blew my mind that San Francisco wasn't above us or Green Bay wasn't above us in this funky 4-year future power rankings. The Lions were actually number 4. And one of the big reasons was our coaching and not our GM. Our GM was actually 6th. And you would think that our GM would be first, because name me a team with a GM that has done more in the last 3 seasons than Brad Holmes. Not counting this season, the previous 3 seasons. Who's done more with less? Not very many. So to me, it really blew me away that they think this much of the Lions going into the future. So they're predicting the next few years. And it's absolutely crazy to think that we are that good and we're going to continue to be that good. And it's something new for Lions fans. It's really awesome. It's a great feeling. And to see somebody else like this coming forward and saying, hey, this is what we think. And the teams above us were the Ravens and the Bills, or it was the Bills first, just above us, half a point above us, and then the Ravens, and then number 1 obviously was the Chiefs, and that was because they took the quarterback out of each situation, and of course,
what are you speaking to?
The future power rankings.
Yeah, we'll get into the future stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just talking about the immediate power ranking, the number 1 power ranking for the Lions. I didn't know. You lost me there for a minute. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Lions are ranked number 1 for the first time ever that I can remember. This doesn't happen because they haven't done what they've done, like you said, with the GM, that we've had with Brad Holmes, who has done a better job with a team that came from where they came from in 2020. I mean, they've completely gutted everything. And they've started over, and they've had about 30% of roster churn or more every single season. That's a very difficult team to put back together every single spring. But the difference this year is we've retained just about everybody that matters. And then we went and revamped the areas that, in my opinion, needed the most attention. And so they've done it the right way, not just because I agree with it. I think that they've done it the right way and retooled, every season just a little bit differently. to be considered the best team among everybody in the National Football League, what does that really mean? So who was number one last year? Do you remember?
It'd have to be the Chiefs, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I had all this stuff pulled up for some reason. It disappeared on me. Probably when I reset. So in 2023, I'm pretty positive it was the Chiefs, just going off of memory. I'm trying to pull it up here because I had to go all the way back to August and September. Here's August 28th, 2023. So even a month even away from where we are right now. The Chiefs are number one. The Eagles are number two. The 49ers were number three. The Bengals were number four. The Bills were number five. The Jets were number six. The Cowboys number seven. Chargers at 8. Browns at 9. Ravens at 10. The Lions weren't even sniffing the top 10. Matter of fact, the Lions were all the way down at 15. And they finished as the third best team in the NFL last year. Maybe the fourth, but probably the third. That's huge. So we went from 15 to 3 between last year and this year. But what does number one really mean? That probably means you have the best chances to win a Super Bowl if you stay healthy, right?
Yep.
If you look back at the number one power ranking, over the last decade, how many have won the Super Bowl? That's going to be an exercise that I wanted to do this morning. So let's look at NFL power rankings in 2022.
That's interesting. So, do you remember getting a subscription to Sports Illustrated just so you could get the NFL preseason predictor, and they would have all the different both conferences, and they would have each division, and they'd have their prediction for the division every year. And of course, every year they would have the Packers or the Vikings winning the division, and the Lions were always at the bottom. They always predicted 5 wins, and it would just crush me, and I'd get all pissed off and mad. But I got the magazine and got this really super ultra cool jacket. And my wife found me one of these the other day. Even says SI on the sleeve and everything. Yeah. So
that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So I thought
the fact that you found one this late in the game is impressive.
$4 at Goodwill.
Yeah, that's good. You always find some crazy stuff. Like Megan is the ultimate thrifter.
Yeah. Oh God, we got to get our ladies together. They'd have a blast.
Yeah, she finds all sorts of stuff, man. So power rankings in 2022, the Bills were 1, the Bucks were 2, the Rams were 3, coming off of a Super Bowl win, and the Chiefs were 4. Obviously, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in 2022. So, and they went back to back in 2023. So being in the top 5 means something, but being number 1 overall means something more. So let's see who won, or who was the NFL power rank number 1 in 2021.
I'm going to say it was the Chiefs again.
So August 24th, 2021. In this, these lists are, NFL Power Rankings preseason 1 through 32 poll. This is by the coaches and general managers and the players, I believe. Kansas City Chiefs are number 1. Bucks are number 2. Bills are number 3. Packers are number 4. Rams are number 5. Rams won the Super Bowl that year. So there you go. Top 5 means something. But number 1 means something even more. How about in 2020?
Eagles?
2020, you had the Kansas City Chiefs as number 1. The 49ers is number 2. Ravens is number 3. Saints is number 4. Titans is number 5. Who won the Super Bowl that year in 2020? That was the Chiefs. 2020. And they were ranked number 1. So the 2 times that the Chiefs have been ranked number 1, they won a Super Bowl. When they are ranked in the top 5, they won a Super Bowl. So 3 out of the last 5 power rankings being ranked number 2 or top 5, they've won a Super Bowl.
Wow.
So how about looking at 2019? I know it's just a list, right? None of this stuff even really matters at the end of the day. because you still got to stay healthy. And that's the biggest issue that all teams face. I mean, week one, you could totally blow up your season. Quarterback could go down, Jahmyr Gibbs could go down, they could all go down in the same game. The season's done. Pack it in. Especially if it's for any length of time. So in 2019, you had the Patriots at number 1, the Rams at number 2, the Saints at number 3, the Chiefs at number 4, and the Eagles at number 5. And let's see, who won it in 2019? That would have been the Patriots. 2019. Where were the Patriots ranked? Number 1 to start the season. So you see the common theme here? Ladies and gentlemen, the Lions have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl because if you just follow the numbers, right? If we're just talking about stats and numbers to start the season and what people have voted on for the last, I've gone through 6-7 years now. If you are in the top 5, you have the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl. If you are number 1, you are 90% more likely to win a Super Bowl if you are power ranked number 1 to start the season. And your Detroit Lions are ranked number 1. Pretty impressive, especially coming from where the Lions have come from over the last many decades. We've been at the bottom. We've been near the top. Now it's time for us to take it. And we just got to run with it. And we've got to stay healthy. So I can't wait to hear what's going on in the press conference because I'm hoping that Dan Campbell spoke to, some of these ticky-tack injuries and what's going on with Brian Branch and Marcus Davenport and DJ Reader. I see that Brent Braylon said, or someone said that there was some stupid questions. There always is. Here's my question. Did they actually mic up the damn reporters this time?
Nope.
That's what ticks me off. Like, mic them up. We've been talking about it for years.
$4 million and they can't get a $40 mic.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to email the president and CEO, Keys, over at Meyer and say, you forgot something. You forgot mics. Like, just buy everybody a Rode mic and be done with it.
Get one shotgun mic and point it at the reporters as they're talking. It's not that hard. All the other teams do it. All of them.
So Braylon Dennis has said that Davenport might heal faster than Branch. I told you guys yesterday, man, do not disregard Davenport. Like, I get it. We get burned up, or stuck on history, right? Because history often what? Repeats itself. So we get stuck on history. But at some point, we have to cut the SOL and say, this isn't the same team. They're doing things differently. They have a much better trainer system now. The training staff that they have is bar none one of the best in the NFL. That has been a consistent Achilles heel for the Lions. No pun intended, but pun intended, I guess. Our training staff always sucked. They couldn't keep guys on the field. They couldn't get guys back on the field. It was always an issue. It's like we couldn't attract good doctors and training staff for whatever reason in Allen Park. But now they want to be there. And now big companies like Meyer have stepped up to make sure that we have all of the top-notch equipment to take care of these players. So I use the term we loosely. That's how closely connected I feel to my Lions on a daily basis. I know I got to stop that because it can look bad at times, but I feel like I'm in bed with them, man. Like I got the synergy with the Lions. I talk about them every day, so it's kind of difficult to remove that word. So 2024 NFL Power Rankings. Where does every team stack up entering training camp? Let's just talk about the top 10, shall we?
Sure.
All right, let's just do the top 10. We'll do the NFC North. We'll do the top 10. So last, Patriots at 32. Carolina Panthers at 31. Giants at 30. Broncos at 29. Cardinals at 28. Watch out for the Cardinals. They're going to be up there. Commanders at 27. Tennessee Titans at 26. Las Vegas Raiders at 25. Your Minnesota Vikings at 24. Here's what they had to say. Life comes at you fast in the NFL. Just 2 years ago, the Vikings were a 13-win NFC North champion. Now, After bidding goodbye to longtime quarterback Kirk Cousins, the Vikings have gone from contender to rebuilder, with veteran Sam Darnold and rookie J.J. McCarthy vying for the right to replace Kirk Cousins. Most expect that McCarthy will become the team's starter sooner rather than later, but Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell cautioned reporters not to underestimate Darnold's chances, especially in the early going. Quarterback isn't the only question mark in the Twin Cities this season. The Vikings are 24th in the NFL in pass defense a season ago and dead last in the NFC against the pass 2 years ago. So, I mean, rightfully so, they're probably where they are. I don't see the Vikings doing a whole lot this year. Man, Braylon is on fire this morning. Another $5 super chat, a couple $2 super chats from Braylon. Appreciate you. Make sure I get your hearts there. It says, lines of place the following players on active NFI. Oh, hell no. Carlton Davis, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Amik Robertson, Traquan Smith, and the Lions waived Matt Farniok. Yeah, that's not great. What's that?
I don't like any of that at all.
So active NFI means that they're going to be doing things off to the side, but another non-football injury means something has either happened while they were away, meaning, they got injured at home or they failed their conditioning test.
Yeah, we need to get these guys some new toenail clippers so they're doing it proper, because I don't know what's going on.
Man,
I don't like it.
All right, I mean, I get it, Braylon. There's pause for concern. Bo Booth said flu. I mean, do you know that for sure that they have a sickness? I've heard the flu's been going around again this year, like this late in the summer.
That's crazy.
Chef is sick right now. He's not feeling the best. And I mean, I don't know. There's all sorts of weird shit in Australia, so who knows? Man. Who knows what's going on down there?
Yeah, that's the plague or something over there.
All right, so 23, and shout out to Braylon Dennis again for keeping us updated. He always does a great job. Braylon, you should just join Rocked On, man. Like, just come on in and be part of the team. Like, just do it. Send me an email, and let's just get you part of the team. New Orleans Saints at 23. Your Chicago Bears at 22. Do you have this pulled up by chance on Bleacher Report?
No.
Okay. Let me read through Chicago Bears. So for a 7-win team that finished in last place in 23, there's more than a little hype surrounding the Chicago Bears in 2024. That's what happens when a team not only possesses the first overall pick, but is aggressive in surrounding the quarterback they take with the pick with offensive weaponry. Now, that's exactly what the Bears did. In addition to drafting Caleb Williams at number 1, the Bears also took Washington wideout Rome Odunze. Man, Odunze's going to be fun to watch in the top 10. And then they signed running back DeAndre Swift in free agency. I was going to say something there, but I decided not to. And traded for veteran wideout Keenan Allen. Look, the Bears are rebuilding. I don't think it's any surprise here that they've gone out and purchased the team. We've spoken about it many, many, many times. The fact will always remain that unless you have a great ability to join people at the hip, and you are an amazing talent evaluator and motivator and someone that can really blend the different egos that all of these guys are going to bring to the locker room because you've purchased veterans, a lot of veterans. It's unknown what the Bears are going to do. Now, can Keenan Allen take the top off of defense? Absolutely. Can Rome Odunze take a top off of defense? 1,000%. Can Caleb Williams actually throw the ball? Sure he can. But can they do it together? That's the symmetry. Is it going to align for the Chicago Bears in year 1? I don't think it will. I think that, with them at 22, that's where they belong. If they crack top 15 by the end of this year, I'd be very surprised. Number 21, Seattle Seahawks. Number 20, Los Angeles Chargers. Number 19, Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 18, Indianapolis Colts. And number 17, Tampa Bay Bucks. Number 16, Atlanta Falcons. Number 15, Cleveland Browns. 14 is your Jets. 13 is the Steelers. 12 is the Cowboys. 11 is the Rams. 10 is the Dolphins. Then number 9, the Green Bay Packers. So Green Bay Packers rode a hot second half of last season into the playoffs, and now Jordan Love is trying to strong-arm his team and giving him a max deal. I believe it's going to cause a major issue with that locker room. We'll see what happens. I've listened to quite a bit now over the last few days, and at the end of the day, nobody's really concerned until this goes past next week. If this goes past next week and a deal is not getting done sooner rather than later, then you've already missed a lot of time with your team. Now, he is there. Now, Jordan Love is there, and he's kind of going through the motions with the team, but he's not really practicing. Being a presence is one thing, but getting all those reps is another thing. He's only played one season. I get it. He's been there for, 4 or 5 years now. I think this causes an issue down the line. So now the Packers are looking to build on the success of last year's wild card run. It's a young team, a hungry team, and a talented team. I would agree with all that. The key to last year's second half surge was the play of quarterback Jordan Love, or was it? Who erased most doubts about his long-term viability as Green Bay starter. According to Carmen Vitale of Fox Sports, recently she wrote that Love has the potential to be just as big for the Packers as Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers were before him. I don't know what in the world she's talking about. But anyway, I agree with where they're at number 9. I think that, with the way that they are rebuilding their team, it's not just through free agency. They've done it through the draft as well. I think that they are poised, to be a much better team. The Green Bay Packers always seem to get things right, and they've really never missed on a quarterback. So Jordan Love has all of the intangibles, the talent, the skill set to be a great quarterback in this league, but I haven't seen enough. And I think that to me means more than anything is you need to see it time in and time out. You could call last season a wash. If he sucked for 8 and played well for 9 or vice versa, it's a wash. So what do you want to say on the Packers at 9?
That's about right for me. And I do have this pulled up now. Just listen, I think that just like you, that Jordan Love is strong in holding them. And I think it's a mistake. It's a mistake to pay this kid top money in the league. And if I was a Packer fan, I'd be very, very wary, because just like I was saying yesterday, all of the media after week 4 last year was just absolutely demolishing Jordan Love, saying he wasn't even worthy to be on the team. And there was a podcast I was listening to last night. They were talking about how Adam Shine had a whole hour segment dedicated to how bad he thought Jordan Love was after week 4, because the Lions just demolished him. And you can't, you got to take the highs and the lows, but the lows can't have those huge giant dips like that. They started 3-6, and yes, they did turn it around in the second half of the season, but was that their defense coming on and running game happening to start? Is that what was going on? Because Jordan Love ran for a little bit and their running backs ran for a little bit, and they had no run game in the first half of the season. In the second half of the season, they had a pretty decent run game. So was it all Jordan Love, or was it the whole rest of the team gelling around him? So I would be really, really, really nervous about paying him that kind of money.
Yeah, I would too. I want to look something up, and I've got to shout somebody out. He's back. He's back in the chat, and I haven't seen him in a while. Lauren McQuaig is back in the house. I was just thinking about Lauren the other day. I was like, man, I haven't seen this guy. He's probably busy farming up in, I think he's up in Canada somewhere, or British Columbia, or somewhere around there. Nice to see you back in the chat, Lauren. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good farming season. So welcome back to Rock Down Detroit Lions. Always glad to see Lauren back in the chat, because this dude, man, you want to talk about someone that knows his stuff and really goes deep into the stats and the weeds and can really pump out a lot of information. Dude's on it. Good to see you back. So Green Bay Packers salary cap, since you brought it up, and Tracy, asked, what happens, over 50 million. So currently their team cap space is $29.256 million. Next year, they're only slated to have 47 million before cap adjustments. The year after that, like every other team, they're slated to have about 100 million. So let's just assume that they get a deal done, and it is a full extension. Their cap number probably won't change. And if it does, it would be minimal, because typically, like what we saw at Jared Goff's extension, the numbers for this year really didn't change. It was the next few seasons. They didn't rewrite the whole contract. They did a full extension. So as were me, I would rather just rewrite the entire contract. Like I would say, nope, I want to break everything out over the next, 4 years plus this year and make it all work in our favor. But they know better than me. I'm not a financial guru when it comes to contracts, but that's just how my mind thinks, that I'd rather include this year. But Jordan Love is set to make $12.8 million this year. That number could change. So, his cap number could change if he wanted more money this year. It could be a signing bonus that, spread out over the next 4 or 5 years or whatever. So we'll see, but they have money. They definitely have enough money. Like the Lions do. Lauren put in the chat H5N1. I had no idea this was going on, that the bird flu is infecting humans right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's pretty scary. So widespread bird flu outbreak in poultry and U.S. dairy cows, with several recent human cases in U.S. dairy and poultry workers. The CDC is on this. Now, I'm not making any claim to anything with viruses or any of that stuff. I'm not some expert, but check the CDC out if you want relevant information. But I had no idea that this was going on. Like, the normal flu, I get it, but the bird flu, man, that's scary stuff. I had swine flu, damn near died. And that was like 2013-ish. I've never been the same since. But I've also really never been sick until I had COVID either. After that, like, I went through a lot. I was septic for like 3 or 4 days. So number 8, we got Philadelphia Eagles. Number 7, Buffalo Bills. Number 6, the Bengals. Makes 0 sense to me.
Why did they get so much love?
I don't know. Because of Joe Burrows.
Yeah, but he hurt his elbow last year and had this surgery, and is he going to be the same? I don't know. And they lost DJ Reader to us.
Yeah.
How does that make them any better than they were last year? That's what I don't understand. Why aren't they at like 12 or 13 or something? What did they do to overcome the things that they lost? Is Joe Burrow that good still? I don't know.
We'll see. I think the beginning of the season is going to really explain a lot. So here we go. Number 5, Baltimore Ravens. So this is your top 5 list that has the most potential to win the Super Bowl this year. And no, the Chicago Bears aren't mentioned anywhere near the top 5. Baltimore Ravens at number 5. Number 4, Houston Texans. I envisioned a Houston Texans and Lions Super Bowl.
I'm down with that.
That's just what I thought would happen this year. Number 3, Detroit Lions, according to Bleacher Report. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. And number 1, your Kansas City Chiefs. Now, according to the NFL power rankings, Lions are at number 1. Let me go back to the top 5 here. Top 5. Oh, that's Bleacher Report again. Dang it.
Yeah, Donnie M says in the chat that Cincinnati lost Joe Mixon also. That's another thing. You lose Mixon, you lose Reader, and then you have a quarterback that's coming off a surgery on his elbow. Oh man, I would be worried if I was a Cincinnati Bengal fan. I'm not, but I would be worried if I was one.
All right. So according to the writers, right? I think that this was voted on by the writers. Is that what I'm understanding here? One of the NFL writers also has the Lions as the top team in his own power ranking list. Brent Sobleski expressed that the overall defense and potent weapons on offense should allow the team to be serious contenders in 24. Okay, that's not it. That's not it. Hold on here. How did I lose this article? Let me go back to my notes, see if it's still in there. Okay. Well, anyway, according to John Macaroon, this was updated on July 22nd, 2024. Your top 5 list is the Ravens at 5, the Chiefs at 4, the Texans at 3, the Niners at 2, and your Detroit Lions at number 1. So
Wow.
out of those five, and that's the Sports Illustrated NFL Power Rankings. So out of those 5, you're going to have a Super Bowl winner. Now, you know what I didn't look at? I didn't look at the Super Bowl loser to see where the Super Bowl loser was ranked. You know, were they ranked in the top 5 as well, or the top 10? Where did they rank? I probably should have done that when I was going through that little exercise.
Yeah.
But your Lions are ranked number 1. Look, this is not a surprise to me. The Lions have returned probably the most players on any NFL roster that started last year. When you look at the offense, and then this is, you know, another exercise we could probably do for the second half, if we stretch this out to a 2-hour show. Looking at the players that started last year on the offensive side of the ball, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, they're both back. Jared Goff, he's back. Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, they're all back. We only added one new offensive lineman that is starting this season. So out of your front 7, only one player is new. You really only lost 2 starters, Josh Reynolds and Jonah Jackson. That's it. So 9 out of 11 players that started last season are back on this team. The rest of the wide receiver room that started and played last season is on this team, besides Josh Reynolds. As far as running backs go, we've added, a Sione Vake, but we still have Jamar Jefferson, Zonovan Knight's back. So pretty much everyone's the same. We just added an extra body. And that's going to be a bloodbath, too, in the running back room. On the defensive side of the ball, we lost the Aquara brothers, Charles Harris. I don't think that was a huge deal, but if we go by the numbers and compare what did we lose and what stats did the current starters put up, I think that we would, have an exercise that would point to the fact that we probably retained the most starters of any team in the NFL. That's a guess. I don't know the answer because I haven't gone through the exercise yet. So that's a guess. And I would say it's a pretty accurate guess. That's why the Lions deserve to be number 1. When you have retained the majority of your team that just went to the NFC Championship game, literally 3 points away from going to the Super Bowl, just one stop on defense from going to the Super Bowl, just one stop. And we're there. And I don't think anybody beats us. I don't think the Chiefs hold a candle to us in the Super Bowl. Lions deserve to be there at number 1. What do you think about it, Eric?
Yeah, it blows my mind. I don't think I've ever seen the Lions as a number 1 power ranking ever, even during the season. So it's pretty awesome to see the turnaround that we've made in just 4 seasons, or actually in 3 seasons. It's just incredible. And I'm so looking forward to this season. So I did something yesterday that I've never done before. I paid for some insider access with Justin Rogers. So I'm one of his founding members, and I'm actually going to get to go on a Zoom call with the guy. And I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, so hopefully we can get some pipeline to some insider info once in a while through Justin Rogers. Get the emails before anybody else.
I'll have to reach out to him, see if he actually returns my message this time. So I'm just looking at the chat here. Quick reminder, like Tracy is trying to help you guys with liking the stream today. So the reason why you don't have ads playing if you have not paid for premium, and that's because this is the only channel, the only Detroit Lions channel that is willing to pay all of your ads for you. While you are live, we don't run any ads. We don't allow YouTube to run any ads. In reciprocation, all we ask is that you just like the stream. You're here for a reason. You must like what you're listening to or watching. And we would appreciate if you would like it and help us get out into the algorithm so more Detroit Lions fans can consume the content that we're trying to deliver each and every morning between 8 and 10 a.m. Schedule could change. So if you guys could please like the stream, that helps us out the most out of anything. And that is our fair trade between us and you. We won't allow ads to play during the live show. They'll play later. So if you miss the live stream, there would be ads. But while you're here, no ads are playing. In exchange for your like today, just give us a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Excited, man. Excited that we're ranked number 1. I know it's early, and I know it's probably meaningless to a lot of people. But I'm excited that we're ranked number 1 for once. So we're finally getting a little bit of credit, right? Do you think it takes the edge off the team? Do you think that they lose their grit factor?
Oh, no. MCDC would never allow it, ever. I don't care if we won 5 Super Bowls in a row. Dan Campbell would never allow the team to lose their edge. That's his whole fiber of his being, is keeping these guys with a chip on their shoulder. So, yeah, I don't think that there's any way he would ever let them lose their edge.
I don't understand here. I copied all of these links, and then I go to put them in, and it says that they're not available. So
weird.
It doesn't make any sense. I even hot linked them. Let's see here. NFL future power ranks. Here it pulls up here. So the other part of this is looking at the future, right? So the ESPN future power rankings projection for all 32 NFL teams. They broke this down with some grades, which included rating each team's quarterback situation, the remaining non-quarterback roster makeup, front office and coaching staff, using a scale of 100, A+, 90, A is great, 80, B is very good, 70, C is average, and so forth. And when you look at the future, Kansas City Chiefs are number 1 for the next 3 years with a score of 95.3. In the chat, do you guys think the Lions are going to be ranked anywhere in the top 5? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments or in the live chat if you think the Lions should be ranked anywhere in the top 5 over the next 3 years. Number 2, Baltimore Ravens, 91.6. You're getting out of the 90s pretty quick with just 2 teams. Number 3, Buffalo Bills, 89.5. Do you agree with the first 3 so far, Eric?
Not with the Bills. I think the Bills lost too much, and they got some big decisions coming in the future in the next 3 years. So I wouldn't put the Bills up there, but that's just me. That's just me looking at it from fan perspective, not looking at any numbers, anything like that. So I wouldn't put the Bills above the Lions. I wouldn't put the Bills above the Lions this year or last year.
All right, so let's look how they broke this down. So with the Chiefs, 95.3, they gave the overall roster minus Mahomes 92.7. That's the NFL rank number 2. Of course, they gave a clean 100 to Patrick Mahomes. They gave coaching a 96.7, well-deserved. Those are both first rankings in the NFL. And front office ranked 2 in the NFL. For the Ravens, this was interesting. Overall roster minus quarterback, 89.7. So they are heavily dependent on Lamar Jackson. That ranked 4th in the NFL. Quarterback, 93. He ranked 4th in the NFL. Coaching. So that means that there is 3 other quarterbacks in the NFL better than Lamar Jackson, including Patrick Mahomes. Then coaching, 5 at 92. Front office at 3 at a 92.3. Then you have the Buffalo Bills. He's the second best quarterback according to all of these votes. Right behind Patrick Mahomes, 96. Overall roster minus quarterback, 85. Again, a quarterback-dependent team. Coaching, 89.7. That ranks 9th. Front office, 4th, 89.7. And then you have your Detroit Lions, ranked 4th. Overall score, 88.9. Did they ever get slighted? Overall roster minus quarterback, 92. That tells us that we don't have a quarterback-dependent roster. 3rd ranked NFL roster. I would say that it's probably the 1st ranked NFL roster, and that's not because of my bias. That's just because what I just stated a few moments ago. We've returned the most starters probably of anybody year over year. Quarterback, they gave him 12th best in the league. So ESPN clearly doesn't have a clue here. They gave Jared Goff an 81. Coaching, they gave Dan Campbell and the coaches the 3rd best score, 92.3. Front office, 88, 6th best score. In my opinion, look, coaching, 3, I could agree with. Front office, I couldn't agree with. No. I would say that the front office is top 3 in the league. Overall roster, top 3. Quarterback, top 5. The Lions should be 2nd best team, in my opinion, over the next many seasons. Here's what they had to say. Reason for hope. The Lions might eventually lose offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, so they're expecting him to exit for a head coaching job, which is selfishly good for Dan Campbell and Detroit's offense. The team spent a lot this offseason, but it now has key players, including Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, secured for the long term. And the culture Campbell has built here already has resulted in an NFC Championship game appearance and has the arrow pointing up per Graziano. Reason for concern. General Manager Brad Holmes did everything he could to fix the secondary that gave up way too much explosive plays last season. And Terrion Arnold and Carlton Davis will make an impact there. But I have many doubts about which pass rusher will support third-year defensive end Aiden Hutchinson. I'm glad you have doubts. Hutch has 21 sacks over his first 2 seasons combined, but has had little help. Detroit was 27th in pass rush win rate in 2023, and Marcus Davenport has never played a full season in his 6-year career. I'm not counting on production to come from him. That was according to Louis Riddick. Nugget to know, last season, the Lions were 4th youngest defense in the NFL. That's huge. Based on snap-weighted age, 25 and a half years old. This year, they project to be the youngest defense based on the average age of the 12 starters, including the base and the nickel defense, at 25.3 years old. Alex Anzalone is the only projected starter over 28 years old, and 4 projected starters are still under 24. That's huge. So when you look at last year's defense, right? Terrible defense on the back end. One of the youngest defenses in the league. And we're doing business. Like up front, 2nd ranked run defense in the league. That's doing business. The fact that we're potentially the youngest defense. Now, he said top 12 starters. He said 12 starters. I don't know why he went with 12. maybe because he's adding that extra, nickel defender. I guess that would make sense because he said the base 4-3 and the nickel defense. So you're adding that extra nickel defender in the nickel defense. Still, though, I with Terry and Arnold potentially being a week 1 starter, he's 21 years old, 22 years old, somewhere in that range. Ennis Rakestraw being a capable backup to at least start the season could push for more playing time. This defensive front, it's not old by any means. Lee McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, Onwuzurike, Josh Pascal. I mean, all these guys are young. Mekhi Wingo is a rookie. Broderick Martin, 2-year player. So very, very young. The fact that they're getting this much out of these guys tells me they're doing something right. And it's from the top down, man. It starts from Brad Holmes finding the guys, Dan Campbell coaching the guys up, and the positional coaches drilling these guys to get it right day in and day out. I'm excited about the fact that we're still young. And that tells me that, when you look at our cap situation and we're this young on defense, we've got a lot of room to grow here. Brad Holmes is really setting this team up for future success. So I get it. Some of these guys are worried about Davenport. We have our doubts because of what's going on with the PUP list right now. Just give the guy a chance, because if he pops this year, you will have probably the most exciting defense in the NFL if he pops. And even if he doesn't, we just need one guy behind him to have a fairly good season. Better than average. We need a top 20 guy on the other side of Aiden. We've never had a top 20 guy on the other side of Aiden. If we could get a top 20 guy, this defense is going to be cooking. If Jack Campbell can be a top 20 linebacker this year, we're going to be cooking. If Brian Branch can come back and healthy, and be a top 5 safety or cornerback in this league again, at least as a nickel, he was top 5, probably the best overall last year, according to PFF. We're cooking. So I'm not as concerned about the defense. I think that, we could improve still. I think 53-man cuts will probably open a door, and Brad Holmes is probably going to do something there. Last week I said that, I didn't see much going on here on the defensive side of the ball, that if we were going to add somebody, it was probably on the offensive side of the ball. And this week they add an offensive lineman. So my vision is clear. I think I'm seeing what the Lions are doing. And I'm hoping that 53-man cuts is clear to everybody else too, that Brad Holmes is going to find somebody that can make a difference. He did it with Benito Jones. And Benito was very important to this defense, last season and the season before. So what say you on future rankings, and how do you feel about this young defense?
Yeah, so in the beginning of the show, this is kind of what I was talking about, was this list right here. And I listened to a couple podcasts both talking about this list. And the one thing that infuriated me was them saying that our front office and GM are 6th. There's no way. Brad Holmes has done more in his first 3 years than anyone else in the NFL has done over that 3-year period. He took a roster that was bottom of the league. Panthers, Patriots, bad. It was horrible. And he has turned it into a roster that could go to the Super Bowl, and almost did go to the Super Bowl in just 3 seasons. And like you were saying, over 30% of the roster has been overturned each of those 3 years. So he has had to churn to make this roster into something. And like you were saying, the defense is now the youngest defense, one of the youngest defenses in the league. What does that tell you? That tells you that Brad Holmes is building through the draft. He's not just going out and buying high-priced free agents that are 28, 29 years old before they hit 30 and trying to get that one last good contract out of them. He's not doing that. He's building it the right way. So when they say that Brad Holmes and the Lions front office is 6th, to me, that's the slap in the face of all of it. The rest of it, I can agree with. But that part of it, it kind of made me mad listening to this. And to have the Bills be just half a point above, and it's all because of their quarterback. Come on. The Lions should be a point or two above them, seriously. And we're going to be pushing the Ravens. We're going to be pushing the 49ers. We're going to be pushing the Chiefs for that top spot all season long, for that number one spot in the power rankings that they put out every week of the season. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Lions right on top quite a bit this season. And it's going to be a fun, awesome new feeling for us Detroit Lions to be the hunted instead of being the hunters.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man. I agree with all that. So before I get into the next topic here, let's take a quick break to one of our sponsors of the day.
Every day, thousands of people are discovering Uper Lights, Michigan's newest, funnest rock to go find on the shores of the Great Lakes. Don't go out with just any light. Try the Convoy C8 from uperlights.com. It's guaranteed for life, and you'll find all the ones everyone else misses. Quality UV lights that are perfect for Uper Lights with prices starting as low as $20. Please make sure to visit uperlights.com for all your UV flashlight needs with the best guarantees on the market. Just what you wanted and not what you didn't. The best quality, the best guarantees, and the best UV flashlights from uperlights.com.
Is here and you want the latest news and rumors on your Detroit Lions. Head to sportspider.com. That's sports, SPYDER.com, where you can get your Lions news and all your sports in one place. Man, this site is packed with your favorite podcasts, live news, articles from local writers, and insiders, all updating in real time. Not just the Lions, every major sports team, including MMA, UFC, and so much more. Don't want to waste time searching? Sign up for free. Create your ultimate sports news hub. You control what hits your feed at SportsSpider, your number one source for all your sports. Visit sportspider.com today, right after the show. All right, so hold on a second here. I don't want that to play just yet.
Podium.
I don't want that to play just yet. Just hold your ponies here. Come on.
Welcome back, everyone.
It's not listening.
I'm excited to be back. The team's excited.
I don't think
back.
you're getting audio from it anyway, are you?
I will in a second. Hold on. Okay. I assume you guys can still hear us. You should. You should be able to hear and see us. I'm going to try to fix this real quick. I think that if I do it this way, we'll have better success. Let's just make sure we've got audio. Where is it? Media source, audio properties. There we go. Monitor and output.
Man, I need one of those grit hats like that. That's an awesome one.
I can't stand snapbacks. It looks like a snapback. All right, so let's make sure that we have audio. Just let us know in the chat if you have audio. Let's listen to Dan Campbell this morning. We'll see what he has to say.
Yesterday was.
Here we go.
Podium. All right. Welcome back.
Got audio, Eric?
Everyone. Obviously, I'm excited to be back. The team's excited to be back. Yesterday was day one. First install and conditioning test, weigh-ins. Guys did a great job. They're overall, certainly physicals. We're in a good place. So I think we're ready to go. Team knows what to expect. They understand the work that's got to be put in again, and we got a good group, and so it begins.
And so it begins.
The same for you every year, but outside expectations maybe have caught up to internal expectations. What do you do during this break that you just had, the 5-6 weeks to recharge personally to make sure you're fully ready to go into the season with the weight that's there?
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's just getting away from here. Mentally get away from here, and I tried to stay away from the building as much as I could, but certainly I had stuff at home. It doesn't take me long, it really doesn't. you know, I was ready before July 4th, so that's a good sign. But listen, I'm ready. The staff's ready. These players are ready. We've had plenty of time off. You know, and really everything is I know for me to get to this point, you've already thought about it, you've already planned it out, but yet it's, you know, what are the, you know, just little things that we can do from a training aspect that push us, you know, really put us in a compromising position to have to, you know, react, you know, to develop, to grow, to, you know, how do we do some of those things? So I've got a couple ideas, but we're ready. I'm ready.
With the, you know, returning of the coordinators, a lot of the core pieces here, you've described it as kind of 401 versus 101. Just in football terms, to start camp, what does that mean, starting at 401, and how much of an advantage is that?
Yeah, well, look, I think when you're talking about day one of camp, I mean, 2021, man, we were, you know, the ball's on the ground. We're not getting the snap off right. You know, we got guys jumping, and I'm talking about starter core guys that we think are projected guys, and you know, we're not even on the same page. We're not even close to being on the same page, you know. And the timing of the motion, all these things, man, the timing of the pressure on defense, you know, alignment, assignment. And so to me, man, we should be so much far. It doesn't mean there's not going to be mistakes. But man, we should look so much crisper than that. I mean, not even close. We should pick up where we left off in the spring and OTAs is really how I see it. That's just an example of it. I mean, we should, you should feel like we're ready to go play right now. Now, is it good enough? No, it won't be good enough. That's why we have camp. But yet, man, it should, from the outside looking in, like, man, these guys go play right now. And that's what I expect.
Dan, you're a big message guy. Do you have a message prepared for your team as this latest chapter starts?
Look, I talked to them last night, and it was really like it's been. And that's, man, it's all about the work. We don't live off reputation, we live off of work. And that's what's gotten us where we're at. It's been a long, hard road to get to where we're at right now, and there's a price to be paid, and so we got to go pay it again. That's the message, and it'll always be the message.
Before we headed out on break, you know, I asked you about guys you expect to be ready for camp. You mentioned DJ probably wouldn't be ready, but you got a few on the PUP list or the NFI list. Just what can you say about the status of those guys, I guess comfort level if they'll be ready sooner than later?
Yeah, we feel like everybody's really doing well. It's on schedule for where we picture them to be. You know, to your point, we talked about Reader. Reader's on course, man. We're not in any hurry with him, but he's doing well. He's getting his strength back. The injury is healed. It's just a matter of getting him to that point where now we feel comfortable getting him out there competing around others. You know, you'll see Davenport out there today. You'll see Branch out there today and walk through. So these guys are slowly going. I think Davenport's going to be a little quicker than Branch is. But they'll both be out there in some capacity, which is a good sign. So no setbacks. You know, we're moving right along. I'll come back to you.
What would you like to see from them, you know, as far as this training camp? Would you like to see them take a step as far as leadership or anything?
Yeah, look, this is their team. This is their team. We're in year 4 now. Those guys have all been here. Sewell as well, you know, Frank, Decker, Alex, Aleem. Like, here we go, man. And that's, you know, like, those guys aren't pups anymore, you know. Iffy, all of them. Barnes. So this is your team, and you guys set the standards. We set the standards.
All right, so we will do some commentary here in just a moment. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. We are going to comment in just a few moments on some of the things they're talking about. So, Eric, make your mental notes. I've got to take a quick break, so while this is playing, I'll be back here in just a moment.
A long time ago, but now as players, you guys control it. So if it's not up to your standards, well, it needs to be said, and let's do it again. You know, you guys control it. We shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. That's on them. And that's what I want. That's what I expect.
Kind of following up on the messaging question that Bob asked. Last year, you had some things on the back of the wall in the meeting room about NFC Championship, winning a playoff game. Are those gone now, and has something replaced them? What do you point to?
Yeah, well, those are still up there, and they're still taped through it with old school tape. And all right, we don't, you know, just looks better that way. So, but we've checked the box on 2, and we got one more to check. But to get there, we got to check those first 2 one more time and update them. So everything starts with finding a way to win your division. You do that, you got to put in the work, man, and you got to find a way to win the first game of the season, and then you go from there.
The success you had last year in terms of guys knowing how good they are or can be, and what it takes also to get that done?
Well, I think anytime you lay out a plan and those guys, man, they trust you, they buy into that plan, they put the work in, you know, it validates what we've talked about. And so they understand, like, this is, for these guys that have been here and been nowhere else, and now we've had success, they understand that this is the road. Like, this is the path. And that's the value of it. They see it and they believe it. And so really, you know, your own worst enemy is yourself. It's not anybody else. It's really not the opponent. It's always going to be yourself. So we're always going to have to guard against, bring it up again, you know, the complacency, the entitlement, the reputation. Like, what is that? That's nothing. We got to go back to work.
And to check all the boxes, how much did the offseason moves put you in a position to, you know, chase what you ultimately want here?
Well, we feel, Brad and myself feel really good about it. I mean, or we wouldn't have made those moves. You know, I thought Brad did a hell of a job in the draft and free agency. But there again, we don't know. You know, we hope, and we feel pretty good, or we wouldn't have made those moves. But we'll find out. We'll find out pretty quick here within, you know, call it 20 days, 25 days, as to, you know, do some of these guys still have it? Do they?
So I think that's a great point, right? I mean, you have a good idea of what you're bringing in. Dan Campbell feels confident, but there you go, 20 days. So the Lions aren't worried. Like, this is the time to start to put it together and to figure out what you have. All the offseason crap, the OTAs, the mini camps, everything leading up till now, erase it. None of it matters. What matters is today and in 20 days from now, where are these Detroit Lions? Where are these free agents that we brought in? You know, are they going to be able to help this team? If DJ Reader can't get, you know, ready by week 1, we still have players that played last season that can play. If Davenport can't make it by week 1 for whatever reason, which he should. We still have Kaminsky and Pascal who can play inside outside, and Mekhi Wingo, 6th-round pick who can play inside outside. Then all those guys are mostly defensive tackles, but you also have Matu Betts, James Houston, and others that are right behind him. And then we've got a whole host of linebackers that have been on this team that we can utilize different fronts and different schemes to be able to still blitz and get to the pass rusher. Let me put it to you this way. If we weren't getting to the pass rusher, or if we weren't getting to the passer last season on the right side of the defense, and we don't get to the passer on the right side of the defense this year, have we lost anything? Have we gotten worse? No. We haven't changed. So if we are still able to do the things that we were able to do last year and this year, we haven't changed, and we almost went to the Super Bowl. So I guess what I'm trying to say is now that we have a revamped cornerback room, that's what's going to make the difference for some of these guys that maybe they're not a top shelf pass rusher, but now that you got that extra quarter to a half a second that the quarterback's holding the ball, now you're going to see more success through the interior pass rush, which I got to be honest with you guys, the majority of teams, coaches, GMs will tell you it's the interior pass rush that matters the most, not what's on the end. So anything you want to add to that, Eric?
I just hope that Broderick Martin or Wingo or somebody, Pascal, whoever it is, Kaminsky, someone is ready to step up if DJ Reader isn't ready. We need that other guy. So somebody better be ready to step up.
Yeah, and I think that they will. I think that we have guys that can step up. The question is, can they stay healthy? When Levi broke onto the scene in his rookie year, everyone was like, who in the world did we just draft, right? Same thing with Broderick Martin last year. And then he comes out and he's firing on all cylinders. I mean, he was getting sacks right away, and then he kind of disappeared. Injuries started to creep in.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't the same player. So I think that we have a good player in Levi. It's just, can he stay healthy? I mean, that's the burden of every team, is keeping guys on the field. But I mean, do you get where I'm going here? Like if we haven't changed anything on the right side of the defense, what have we really lost? We just haven't gained anything, but we haven't gotten worse, right?
Well, one thing in the chat too. So I think it was Moonscar Blade brought it up that we still have quite a bit of cap space. And, Brad can make a move if he really wants to bring somebody in. If we get halfway through camp and it just isn't happening, right? We need that other guy on the interior, or we need another guy on the right edge. We just need the guy, right?
Yeah.
We can make a trade for somebody. We can pick somebody off of the free agent list, because there's going to be, 1,100 guys that are going to be out of a job here really soon.
Yep.
There's 90 people on every roster, and they got to get down to 53. So there's 40 times 32. There's a lot of guys going to be having,
1,184.
Yeah. So there's quite a few that are going to have a job opening.
Yeah.
So there's got to be somebody in that 1,184 guys that could come in and help us out.
Not only that, but the Lions are sitting just south of $35 million in cap space.
Yeah,
so
I think we're third in cap space right now, if I remember right.
If they really want to make a move, they can. We have every pick next year but a third. We have every pick in 2026. So if they really want to make a move, they can. Does that mean it's Matthew Judon? Probably not. I think that deal would have already happened. But is there somebody? Is it Hassan Reddick? Absolutely not. They're not going to bring in that headache.
No.
But there's Brad Holmes picks guys off at 53-man cuts because they're inexpensive. They're looking for a job. They still got something to, still got some gas in the tank. I mean, look, we brought in 34 and 36-year-old guys last season that still helped this team. So there's opportunity. It can't be all doom and gloom, which, some people like to paint that picture of doom and gloom. It's not always doom and gloom, guys. It's just part of the process here. And we just started the process today. So let's give it a little bit of time. Let's keep going here.
I think our memories get kind of wiped out every year about what I'm serious, because it's a year later. And we always forget that last year at the beginning of camp, we had some guys go on the PUP list, and the year before we had some guys go on the PUP list. We always forget all these things. We forget how convoluted it is at the beginning of camp every year. It really is.
Hello?
Oh, Will got a phone call. So yeah, don't forget, you guys, you can always call into the show too if you got the number. Will puts it up in the chat there now and then. Let's see what they're talking about in the chat. But
so whoever that was, they're trying to say they're calling in from border protection and blah 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 blah. Yeah, get real, dude.
Yeah, come on
now. You think I was born at night, but not last night. All right.
Yeah.
Nice try. So yeah. Anyway, let's keep motoring through this. I don't really know what I missed when I walked away, but I'll watch it again tonight. We'll pump out some videos a little bit later. I find the Nuggets, I think that the Lions and Dan Campbell all know I find the Nuggets because I love the psychology of it all. I watch the body language. I can figure out when people are lying or not. And we'll see what I find this year. Last year I found quite a few nuggets. We'll see what I find this year. But quick shout out to Dan Campbell. So dude just had his third knee surgery. Knee replacement surgery. He had one when he retired, which was after the Saints season. And then he's had two more. So when he was MIA during OTAs, that's because he was having another knee replacement surgery. And this dude is up just motoring around. No big deal. So if he gets down on up downs in camp this year, the dude is the biggest dog of them all. If he does with a knee replaced, his wife will have a shit fit. I guarantee it. His wife didn't want him to go to practice because she said, I'm going to be sitting there right next to you. And I'm going to be screaming that you're not allowed to stand. And he's like, yeah, I'll just stay home. So that's why Dan Campbell didn't come to OTAs. All right, let's get it going here. Let's keep going.
They mesh with the other guys. Are they still productive players? Are they willing to do it the way we do it? So yeah, we feel really good, but.
Sorry, I got to pause it again. Are they going to do it the way that we do it? See, that's what it's all about. They're very selective.
You know, we'll see. We'll see.
What day do the pads come on, and what do you need to see in the ramp-up acclimation period? What do you need to accomplish before you get those up?
Yeah, so obviously 4 days of acclimation is what they call it here, starting today, and then mandatory day off, and then we will go full pads when they come back after the day off, which I believe is Monday. So really, it's kind of what it says. It's about working guys in this week, and let's
full pads Monday. That's going to be exciting.
Get them the reps. Let's spread the load, and let's get their legs under them. You know, let's get their football legs under them, and then along the way improve a little bit here. There's not a ton of reps to go around. You know, there's a restriction on time limits every day. You know.
Hold on a second here. Moonscar Blade says they got to eat the kneecap biting soup. I tell you what, Dan Campbell should have saved his knee and just thrown it onto the field. You know, instead of a red flag, just throw his kneecap out there, you know, and challenge the play.
Today's can only be 90 minutes. Then you get, you know, an hour and 45 minutes, and then after that, 2 hours. So, you know, so we're well within the rules, but it's really it. It's getting their football legs under them. What are you doing over there?
Standing pneumonia.
I got you.
Exile. We had the success at the end of the 2 years ago, won every day and everything, just missed out on the playoffs. And then a lot of people say that it's like one season doesn't matter, doesn't, you know, what you did last year doesn't necessarily matter. But it didn't slow you down last year. In fact, you improved on it. What was the secret sauce that allowed you to hit the road, get the ground running, and have even more success?
Well, you know, look, it was another chance for us all to be together. I bring back up that core group that we've had here for a number of years, really going on 4 years. At that point, it was 3 last year. That's one, you know, that continuity. But to me, it's also, I mean, it really is. We add, right? We add to, you know, we have another draft. We had a couple of players here that we feel like are going to mesh with us. But then I just believe it's about, man, if you start patting yourself on the back and you don't believe that everything that it took to get there, it's going to take that again and then some, then you're just going to be stuck. You'll just be average. You'll be back to a 9-8 season or 8-9 season. And so I think and that's not an easy thing to do, but I think there's got to be this mindset that we had going into last year, that, man, we're going to be better than we were last year. We found a way to get it done. You know, we found that recipe. We know what it's going to take. We understand how to play with each other. And so I think you never lose that. You know, that was that stretch we found, that 10 games. You know, our guys understood, they bought into it, and we
see you, Brent. Have a good day, man.
And that carried over. And I believe what we did last year can carry over into this season. I do, as long as we go to work, man. And nobody's going to decide. Listen, here's one of the best things that ever happened to me is I was part of a team that, man, we did we did something really special. We came up a little short, and the next year we had the exact same team. The exact same team. I mean, we made it a point. And man, I just remember there was a couple of things, hey guys, we're not going to go pads today. Everybody's, yeah, all right. Those things. Oh, this is great. Hey guys, get out of here a little bit early. Hey, go. And pretty soon, by the end of it, you just lost your identity. And everything that had made you what you are, you went away from it. Because you know what? We'll be okay. We got the same guys, And that was a lesson learned for me. Because we were average. We went 7-9 the next year after going in 12-4.
What is Dan Campbell speaking to right there? We have the same guys. If you haven't learned, we have the same guys this year. Matter of fact, let me pull up the roster real quick, because this speaks volumes to Dan Campbell and the way that he approaches, the way that he's learned from every bit of NFL that he's been a part of as a player, as a coach, as a positional coach, as an assistant coach, you name it. Everything that he has learned, he has put together, and why he's having such great success right now. He just said that he learned a valuable lesson. I can't remember which team that was. Was that the Saints? Did you hear, Eric?
I didn't hear. He didn't say which team it was.
Well, they went 7-9. I assumed that had to be the Saints. It could have been the Dolphins, but it could have been. It had to have been the Saints, or it could have been a team that he was on. Could have been the Cowboys. I don't remember.
I think he was talking about his time with the Cowboys. Is what he was talking about.
So this year we have Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond, Sam Laporta, Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell. Kevin Zeitler is the only addition to our starting 11 on offense. On defense, you have Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. That's where we have some difference. We have Amik Robertson, Terrion Arnold, Carlton Davis, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader. Half of the defense is new, or a little less than half is new as far as projected starters. But behind them, you have Levi Onwuzurike, Broderick Martin, John Kaminsky, Jalen Reeves-Maben, Malcolm Rodriguez. Emmanuel Mosley didn't get to play, but he was part of the team last year. Ifeatu Melifonwu, CJ Moore, Kindle Vildor. All those guys were with the team last year. And Josh Paschal is ranked third right now in the depth chart. But you have Josh Paschal, James Houston, who's also ranked third, Stephen Gilmore, Brandon Joseph, Khalil Dorsey. All of those guys were on the team last year. So when you look at this team overall, 90% of this team roughly is the same. But what did Dan Campbell just say? It was a big mistake thinking because you got the same guys, you don't have to go as hard. Because you got the same guys, you don't have to practice some pads today. Because you got the same guys, you're going to let guys go early. You just lost your identity. So when we talk about Dan Campbell not kicking the ball and going for it on fourth down, and is Dan Campbell going to change? Hell, no, he's not. He's not changing. He's going to do what's right for this team. He's going to stay consistent with the identity that he has built, and that's what we expect from a head coach that wants to win and do it the right way. I love the fact that he just said that, and he brought up a point, from his history, his time in the NFL. And so when he goes and tells the guys this in practice or last night, they're probably going to understand that, okay, coach isn't going to go light on us. And this is why. Because if we go light one day, we start to lose our identity chip by chip by chip. And before you know it, we're losing ball game after ball game after ball game. We don't want to allow that to happen. So don't expect Dan Campbell to lay off at all. Don't expect Dan Campbell to go light. Don't expect Dan Campbell to ever feel comfortable, or the other C word, complacent, because that's how you get in trouble. Eric?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Dan Campbell's not going to let these guys become complacent. He will not do it. Every fiber of his being is don't let the complacency creep in. You can't rest on what you've already done. You have to do more. So what's their theme for this year? They kind of let it leak. It takes more. It takes more to win a Super Bowl. So it's going to take more than what they did last year. They were close, but they didn't make it. So it takes more. You can't just be like, all right, we've made it. We've arrived. That's the attitude that's not going to work. And why does he know that? Because he went through it himself with another team. I don't know if he's referring to when he was on the Cowboys or the Giants or the Lions or who he was with, or when he was a coach. But he's seen it firsthand. He's been on an 0-16 team. He knows how to lose and he knows how to win and what it takes to make it happen year after year after year. So that's what I've been talking about forever is the Lions are building a franchise. They're building a team that can have sustained success instead of being just a flash in the pan, fluky team like the Vikings did a couple years ago, where they win 14 games and then they go play the number 6 seed in the playoffs and they lose at home to a crappy Giants team that was really not that great and barely made the playoffs. So I don't think we're going to be built like that. We're going to be a team with sustained success. You come play us at home in the playoffs, you're not winning. That's the kind of team we're putting together now. And I know Brad wants something this year. He wants the number 1 seed. He wanted it last year. It was stolen from him. And he's mad as a hatter and he wants it. He wants the number 1 seed this year. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Lions start out very early in the season with some really big wins up to that number 1 power ranking for the week and stay there for quite a long time, or maybe for the entire season.
We'll keep motoring here through this live press conference. Well, it's not live anymore. Post-live press conference, Dan Campbell talking about the fact the Lions are not going to lay off. They're not going to let down. They're not going to give up. They're definitely not going to get complacent. To the people in the chat that are just now joining, freedom of speech is always number 1. Number 2, don't take it too far, because you can have your opinions, right? But if you're going to be derogatory in any way, shape, or form to other people in the chat, and if you're not a Lions fan and you're in here just trolling, just remember, we accept everybody. We welcome all of the other fans in here, but just be careful. These are good people. They welcome everybody in just the same. That's what Detroit Lions are all about. We're the best fan base in the world because we are so open and welcoming to everybody. Don't tread on that, because I don't want to have to remove people. But Tracy's got the eyes on it, and that's what they're there for. So let's keep going here.
And I will never forget that, ever. So we are not going to lose our identity. That is the most important thing to me, and I won't sacrifice it for anyone or anything. I told the team that, and they know that.
How are you a better head coach today than you were 6 months ago?
More experienced. And then I just bring this up. I've got more experience, but so does the staff under me. They've got more experience, and they've got more experience being around me and myself being around them. So that makes me better, right? Your staff makes you a lot better, and they're the reason that I'm even in this position and we're having success. So we make each of us, we make each other.
It's just me, or does Dan Campbell look more ripped this year than he did last year? My goodness, dude. Well, what is he eating?
Better.
I'll use the term complacency. The team sliding back. How important is new blood?
Good word.
Just bringing in some fresh faces, whether it's vets or rookies that can I guess reinvigorate and keep that energy going forward.
It's important. Yeah, it's important. You get these guys that are jockeying for a chance to get a starting position or playing time, and man, they are young, fresh, and hungry. Absolutely, it's important. And look, there is no substitute for competition. I mean, it's the ultimate motivator is the competition.
Did you say what year you were talking about?
Nope.
Oh, so
You'll do your research.
He's not going to give up what he was talking about. So I'll figure it out at the end of the day. I'll have to go into it and figure out which team it was.
It was 2 years.
It may not have been as a coach.
No, 2000.
All right, curveball.
I guess that was it. So it was kind of a short interview there by head coach Dan Campbell. He had a lot of things to say, but I think the most important thing that he said, everybody, is we're not going to get complacent. Complacency has no room in the Detroit Lions organization. And this season is going to be eclipsed. Let me say that again. This season is going to go in one of two directions. The Lions are going to take a step above where they were last year and make it to the Super Bowl. Or they're going to make the playoffs and maybe fizzle out, right? I think those are the only two options that you have this year. I do not believe anywhere that it's possible that the Lions do a first to worst type situation. Now, I know that's I probably shouldn't say that. Probably shouldn't put that out there. You know, I'll knock on this hardwood desk here, but I think that when you have a coach like Dan Campbell that has the mentality, the vision, the understanding, the experience, the wherewithal, any adjective that you want to spew here, to know that you've got to go all in all the time. You can't have any setbacks that you can avoid, right? You're going to have injuries. You can't avoid that. You can try to limit it by being ready early in the season, by staying healthy, by eating right, by stretching, by doing all the little things right before you go out and start running full speed. Just like I try to teach my kids, man. Don't ruin your arm in baseball. How do you not do that? Well, you got to do all the little tosses, you know, and you keep working it out. All, 30 minutes or so that it takes you to warm up. And then you finally get into short toss and then long toss. And then you start throwing hard from first to second. And then you throw from first to third. And so you keep incrementally getting warmed up. And then you're ready to go. So the next time you've got to throw a ball hard, your arm's not going to be like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have done that. And you rip something. Same thing applies here in football. You have to start from the very beginning. You have to stretch. If you don't stretch, you're probably going to tear or rip something. So even with Dan Campbell, he's got to stretch, right? He's got to come into this being ready. He's got to come into this being stretched and ready to go, just like everybody else on this team mentally. He's got to mentally stretch his brain before he can start full go, come season time. I'm glad that he mentioned that he's more experienced. Any coach that is not learning, you're going backwards. And Dan Campbell's definitely not going backwards. I think that the question there, I don't want to say it was a dumb question. I hope it wasn't a question that they were trying to say, you failed in the NFC Championship game. How are you a better coach? Like, I don't think it was that way. I hope it wasn't. But I think it was a good surface question. Do you feel like you're better than you were last year as a coach? Did you learn anything? And he did. He's way more experienced now. The one thing that I love about Dan Campbell, and this reigns true on the entire roster, you're only as good as your depth, right? So you're only as good as your positional coaches. You're only as good as your assistants. You're only as good as your coordinators. If they are lacking somewhere and you are not helping them grow, you're going to struggle. Because imagine you're in a game. I mean, these guys have less than 15 seconds to call a defense or an offense and to get it right. There's so many motions going on in the first 5 seconds. And by second 15, they cut the ears off to the quarterback. And now you're all in. You've got to have it all installed. You've got to have it all called right and perfect. If your coach is lacking anywhere, that play is probably going to turn into a problem. And if Dan Campbell is not getting his coaches ready, then he too is going to have some struggles because he might not be able to make the right decision when it comes time to make that decision, whatever it is, kicking a field goal, going for it, whatever it is. So what is your full takeaway, Eric, on today's press conference?
Well, that I think maybe Dan did a little bit of reflection in the offseason. I think maybe he looked really deep into what he did in the NFC Championship game and all the games and thought to himself, you know what? I'm going to be true to myself. I'm not going to beat myself up about this. I trusted my offense. That's the way I did it. That's the way I'm going to do it. And he had 2 opportunities in the NFC Championship game to kick field goals, and he didn't do it. We lost by 3 points. So if we would have had those 6 points, we win that game. I think now, looking back at it, maybe he had a few doubts, but I don't think Dan Campbell's that kind of guy. I think he's not going to beat himself up about it. I think he's over it. He's ready to go, and he's going to trust his offense again this year, no matter who our kicker is. Doesn't matter if it's Jake Bates. Doesn't matter if it's Badgley or who it ends up being. He is going to trust his offense. And like I've said in the past, I think both Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are playing Moneyball of a different sort. So they're doing things that other teams are going to start copying with their 4th down, going for it instead of kicking field goals. And I don't really think it's going to matter who our kicker is. Maybe once in a while he'll take the points, but for the most part, I don't think Dan is going to change who he is, because Dan is who he is. And you can tell that with that press conference today, that he is genuine with his players. He's genuine with his staff, and he doesn't change or be wishy-washy because the media wants him to be, or the fans want him to be a certain way. He's the way he is, and that's it. He's not going to change for anyone or anything. And job be damned, whether he stays or not, that's the way he is. And that's the way he's going to be. And I love that about Dan Campbell. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's going to be our longest tenured coach that we've ever had in the history of the Detroit Lions. I think you're going to get 10 plus years out of Dan Campbell. And I think he's going to have a lot of success here with the Detroit Lions very, very soon.
I agree with all that. I want to transition now into kind of a somber ending, I guess, to today's show. But it's something that this channel wants to be part of, and that's always bridging the gap between the Lions fan and the team, and trying to do something for people that is above and beyond, right? Be that a olive branch, be that extension. Try to do something nice for others every once in a while, right? It feels good than doing something nice for yourself. Maybe that's the selfish part of being unselfish. But yesterday I caught this news article, and it was an obituary for a man who didn't want one, and it was written by his son, and it was about how to best honor his father's life was simply to watch the Detroit Lions. And I got to thinking about all the stories from last year. The guy with the blue hair that I believe he was battling cancer, and Amon-Ra St. Brown stepping up, coloring his hair, and I think they sent him a jersey or whatever. But he wanted nothing more than to watch the Lions win just once. He ended up passing, shortly after the season. I believe it was shortly after the season. Memory's a little foggy, but so then I caught this out of Pennsylvania. And I'm just going to read this. This is from CBSNews.com. It says an obituary out of Pennsylvania caught the attention of many Michigan residents thanks to its reference to the Detroit Lions and the team's annual Thanksgiving Day tradition. The obituary was written for William Gardner by his child, who claimed their father didn't want an obituary or a funeral, since he meant so much to the people around him. The obituary shared the following message for those looking to honor his life. And this is what he says, quote, "Sheesh, My father didn't want an obituary, funeral, or memorial. However, it has been brought to my attention that he meant something to a lot of you. So if I'm going to disobey his wishes, we're going to do this right. If you loved my father, or he had any impact on your life at all, and you want to honor his memory, sit in front of your TV at noon every Thanksgiving and watch the Lions game just like he would have done. Detroit versus everybody. Man, did that pull on my heart. Incredible way to honor your father and disobey his wishes is simply just letting everybody know what his favorite pastime was on Thanksgiving. So if anybody can figure out how to get a hold of this kid, I don't know how old he is. But William Gardner, and it was his son. I don't even know if they mentioned his son's name. I know that there was plenty of articles that wrote something very similar to this. I have tried to reach out to one writer on MLive to see if they could help connect the dots here. What I would like to do is figure out a way to bring this kid to a Lions game. I use the kid term loosely. I don't know how old he is, so I apologize. If you're over 18 or whatever. But this young man, let's figure out a way that we can support him in bringing him to the Thanksgiving Day game. Maybe the Lions are already doing something. I'd have no idea. And if the Lions catch wind of this, I would hope that they step up to the plate, bring this kid in, put him in a box, let him enjoy the game, just like his father would have, sitting there watching it every Thanksgiving Day. But these are the types of things this channel wants to be different with. It's not just cramming content down your throat. We want to be the bridge, right? We want to help not just support people with Rock Down Cancer Foundation, but fans, connecting the fans. That's why we're giving away so many training camp tickets. And that starts tomorrow. So I'll probably pump the videos out today, but that's going to start tomorrow. We're going to start giving away tickets to people that weren't able to get any tickets. I will have very limited amount of tickets for the 11th. We're going to give, I've already promised some people some, including my father who wasn't able to get tickets. And, that's when we're going to come together as Lions fans on the 11th with Crunch Time, Jeff Ifrady and Booner and the crew, Klotz and I think Garrity. I think Michael Garrity is the other guy there. So coming together and doing things, for Lions fans, because we are Lions fans at our core. The media side is second, to all of that. But I'm human, and this touched the heart. So let's figure out a way to bring this kid in and get him to the Thanksgiving Day game. If I have to give up a ticket or something like that to the game, I absolutely would, in a heartbeat. I would love to be a part of it. But let's figure out a way to find this guy. So all the internet sleuths out there or any other news stations listening, help a brother out. Let's find this guy and let's get him brought into the Thanksgiving Day game. And let's have some fun with it and honor his father just like he wants to. Eric, anything you want to say on that?
Yeah. So I've been planning something for a little while, and I spoke to you about it a little bit. But we have a few fans in here that watch the show, and they're also friends with me on Facebook. And I've come to find out that some of these people in the chat and that are friends with me on Facebook have never been to a game before or can't afford to go to a game this year. So one or two of the games this year, I'm going to pick somebody, and I'm just going to pick them because they've never been to a game where they can't afford to go to a game, and I'm going to bring them to a game. So make sure you friend me on Facebook, on social media and stuff. And I want to pick somebody deserving that deserves to go. That's, a supporter of the channel and a supporter of me. And I'm going to take a couple people, maybe pick one for one game and one for another game. And because I plan on going to a lot of Lions games this year. So I don't care where you live. We're going to make it happen. And it's going to be an awesome season. So why not try to let somebody go that maybe couldn't afford it or has never been to a game before. So it's an awesome experience. If you've never been to Ford Field, especially in the last season, it is so electric. It is beyond electric. It's like nothing you've ever felt before. So close your eyes and imagine yourself in the Coliseum with the gladiators going at it. That is what it's like. It's a modern day Coliseum with modern day gladiators and just the electric absolute feeling. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. It is so awesome. You hear the chants of Jared Goff, and then you hear "Let's go Lions." Oh my God. Just all the way to the stadium, in the elevator, going up the elevator in the hotel, everywhere I went in Detroit, it was "Let's go Lions" and Jared Goff chants everywhere. And if you've never been to a game, you're in for a treat. So so make sure you guys friend me, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to have a contest or anything. I'm just going to pick some people that deserve to go.
That's awesome, you man. I think that's great. So again, let's figure out a way to get a hold of this kid and make sure that we can get him to the Thanksgiving Day game. I put a timeout on that dude. I don't want him to infect our good chat this morning. We're having a good day. I'll only let it go on for so long. But anyway, good show today. Dan Campbell started off press conference this morning. It is now time for your Detroit Lions to take shape. Literally take shape. Training camp is off and running, and we'll be there pretty soon. Again, I'm going to start doing some ticket giveaways between today, tomorrow, and every day. And make sure, if you guys have not subscribed to the All Grit Pod at the All Grit Pod, Chef has some tickets too that he's going to be giving away. But we got to get him to 1,000 before Friday. We have to get him to 1,000 subscribers before Friday. Really before Thursday. So if you guys haven't subscribed, please go over there, visit, subscribe to the channel, and then we're going to be giving away some tickets for that channel as well. So that's really it for today. Again, I appreciate everyone for joining and sticking around. I know we had a little bit of issues earlier, but I figured something out now. With the press conference, and I'll figure it out for the next one because there's going to be plenty. Look, this is when all the content starts to really pump, guys. Breaking news, when we get it, we'll do it as quickly as we can, whether it's injuries or transactions. We'll try to get you guys all of the best information. Just remember, this channel doesn't clickbait. It might be bait to click because we use limited words, right? We use limited words on our thumbnails. I'm not going to give you the entire story away. Otherwise, what's the point of watching the darn video? But we don't clickbait. All the information you get here is going to be wholesome, truthful, transparent, honest, forthcoming, you name it. That's what we're all about here at Rocked On Detroit Lions, Rocked On Podcast Network, Off the Cuff, Rise and Grind Morning Show, the All Grit Pod, and of course, Eric Rintamaki. Appreciate you as always for being a part of the show, man. It's been a good couple of months, and we're ready, dude. We are ready. And Eric bought me a ticket to the Seattle game. I totally didn't expect that. I mean, obviously I have a ticket to go, but we'll see what the club wants to do with that ticket. But going to the Seattle game, that's one that's on my list. I hate Seattle. Yeah. And I hate is a strong word. I use the term loosely, but
we just got a monkey we got to get off of our back.
Yeah, but the way that they treated us last year, it was so disrespectful.
With the CJ and the face mask thing, and oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool going into the game, but then after the game, I'm like, yeah, that ski mask thing wasn't so awesome.
All right. So look, on the 11th, if you guys have training camp tickets, or even if you don't, and you are in the Allen Park area, the Detroit area, if you're within 30 minutes, we are going to do a meet and greet, probably starting around 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. On the 11th, obviously the Lions have a joint practice that day. Eric's stepping up. He's going to do a few giveaways. So just by showing up, you might be in the running to at least get a giveaway package. I'm trying to get some things assembled before the 11th so I can do some giveaways. And then, of course, every 500 subscribers, if you guys haven't subscribed, now's the time, because every 500 subscribers, we're giving away helmets signed by Panay Sewell and or Chris Spielman, mini helmets. And, that's huge. There's no other channel out here doing this. Nobody. No one's giving away stuff like we are. And that's because we're not about the money. It's all about the fans. The money will come later. Like, that's not what we're worried about. I want the fans to have the best content and be part of the best community right here on Rocked On Podcast Network and all the Rocked On Podcast branded channels, because you guys deserve it. We've been waiting for too long, and we're here. We've arrived. It's time to win in 2024 like never before, and I think that we will. Final words, Eric.
Yeah. So 2 real quick things. So Braylon, I'll work on something for you here. All right. And thanks for the super chat, $5 again. And then number 2, anybody that's listening right now that's been to training camp, knows Allen Park, can someone please recommend an Airbnb or a hotel or someplace that's kind of close to Allen Park so I don't have to drive really far in the morning? That'd be really, really awesome.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool.
There's a few good spots around there. Matter of fact, I think that Meyer is right around the corner from Allen Park.
Yeah.
And I'm going to contact Meyer to see if they'll host us that morning for the meet and greet.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. And see if they'll help us with something. So I'm going to reach out to them today. All right, you guys go on and have an excellent day today. Training camp has started. The vets are in. The rookies are in. We've got some added players to the PUP list and the NFI list. Let's just hope that, it's not long-lived here. Man, we are so close. We got football in 7 days. Hall of Fame games, 7 days.
Yeah.
I will be off tomorrow. I'm heading to Cleveland today. Got to get some more testing done. Not sure if I'll be back by Friday, but I will probably do some pop-ups while I'm driving. While I'm parked. And we'll talk football. So, Eric, have a great day. To everybody in the chat, have a great day. Go One Pride. Go Detroit Lions. We'll see you very soon.
Adam Schefter at ESPN says there's 275,000 people.
Well, that was some party in downtown Detroit. 775,000 people shattering the NFL draft attendance record.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.